biodiversity loss. Like I said, humanity was living in harmony with its environment until industrialization started. And gradually humanity is driving every other person away from the earth, and if you're not careful, we soon become the only creature that is living on the surface of the earth. And there is something that COVID taught us, like I used to say. During COVID, when the whole world was on lockdown, did we notice that the whole creature was happy except humanity? When the whole world was on lockdown, you see the fish in the waters, in the seas, they were happy. The seas became clean. In countries where they had serious air pollution, it became clear. You start seeing wild animals on the streets. It's as if the whole world is celebrating that humanity is not around. So it's becoming clear that the whole world can survive without man, but it's only man that cannot survive without the planet. So we should start thinking the way we see our planet and the way we relate with other living things on our planet. You can see that 40% of amphibians are almost going into extinction, 34% of conifers, 33% of corals, fish in the water, mammals, birds. It's only humanity that is expanding. I know the way we're even expanding, we're even trying to drive ourselves into extinction, because we're having an increase in wars almost everywhere around. So we are not just killing other living things that are living with us, we're also gradually killing ourselves by the way we think and the way we do our things. So this impact on Nigeria, I brought this chart up to see for us to know the severe impact of environmental degradation and other environmental challenges in Nigeria. This is a map of Nigeria showing the challenges we're facing, environmental challenges we're facing. And you can see that about 18 states in the northern part of Nigeria is being affected by desertification. Desertification today is moving down south at about 0.7 kilometers per year, and about 18 states is being affected. That has cost about 50 million jobs in the last 2 years, and Nigeria loses about $5 billion every year to desertification alone. The implication is that every year people are rushing down from the south to places like Lagos to Ibadan because the most part of the north is no more conducive. And we may not see it now, but within the next 10, 15 years, we're bringing people that are not educated, uneducated, uncultured, untrained, and unskilled as megas, as Okada riders and things like that. A whole lot of them are in Lagos today, we're not seeing it. But within the next 10, 15 years, that will become one of the biggest security challenges Southwest if you don't do something about it. And it's not just in the northern parts, the coastal countries, we are seeing increase in flooding, we're seeing increase in flooding and other erosion and other water-related issues. Well, so Nigeria is becoming a country that environmental challenge is becoming one of the biggest challenges we have in this part of the world. And if we don't address it, it becomes impossible for us to address any other problem we're having, whether security, whether health, whether economic, because that is the foundation of the huge challenge that is facing us as a country. And we're seeing the effects in epidemics and pandemics. As humanity continues to destroy the world is reacting. As we continue to destroy our forests, animals in the forest are reacting. The forest is the natural habitat of millions of pathogens that we know little or nothing about. As we continue to destroy, these pathogens come to our habitats and we enter the habitats. And there's increased contact between humans and animals as a result of movement on both sides. As contact increases, the probability of zoonotic diseases that are jumping from animals to humans increases. And we've seen the impact in increase in frequency and intensity of emerging infectious diseases in recent years in the world. Most of the pandemics and epidemics we've experienced in recent years are zoonotic. Whether COVID, whether Ebola, whether Lassa, whether monkeypox, most of them are from animal source. And it's because the way humans are relating with animals are not the best. And as we continuously relate with them wrongly, we continuously see diseases jumping from their world to our world. Diseases that we know nothing about, diseases that we are not familiar with, and diseases that have the ability to wipe humanity away. Emergence and history of pandemics. Pandemics are not new in the world. But the truth is that when humans were not living together in harmony with the environment, we had less pandemics and epidemics than we have now. History of pandemics started, recorded human history about 430 BC. We had a cholera outbreak, we had a Spanish flu that wiped about 20 to 50 million humans. We have the Black Death that wiped almost 1/3 of the population of the Earth then. And in recent years, from like 1990, we've seen increase in the frequency and intensity of these diseases. It's as if as we're living one, another one is coming. As we're talking about COVID, Ebola is coming. As we're trying to get ready or get over Ebola, we're seeing monkeypox, we've seen Lassa fever, we've seen dengue fever. It's like the cycles of these emerging infectious diseases that are reducing and the intensity are getting stronger. And like I said, the predictions are not favorable. There's a 25% chance that we have another COVID, something at the level of COVID within the next 25 years. And there's a 25% chance that we'll have it within the next 10 years, and a 40% chance that we'll have it in about 20 years thereabouts. So these are the predictions that scientists have predicted concerning the next pandemic. So the issue is not a matter of if next, or God forbid. The issue is how do we relate differently with our environment to make sure that the world is conducive for all of us to live in. And we see factors influencing global biosecurity threats. What are the factors influencing the increase in emerging infectious diseases and pandemics and epidemics in our world today? Number one is emergence and spread of new microbes. We're seeing new microbes, especially microbes jumping from animals to humans. And this has to do with the way humans relate with their environment, especially wild animals. As we continue to destroy our forests, move into new territories, get increased contact between humans and animals, and we see new and emerging microbes coming into human system. Environmental destruction and climate change, like we discussed, globalization. Today, humanity moves around the world. And one of the biggest challenges with epidemics and pandemics today is that one epidemic, one outbreak in any part of the world that is not properly taken care of within a short period of time, 1, 2, 3 days, can become a global issue. And COVID has proven that beyond reasonable doubt. Rise in drug resistance, we're seeing issues now of infectious diseases not responding to known drugs as a result of antimicrobial resistance, and this is becoming one of the biggest issues in our world today, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, and the potential for accidental use. One of the biggest challenges we're having with most researches in our world today is that researches like opportunities like synthetic biology, like gene editing, also have the ability to be used for negative purposes. And for you, it's become difficult for you to understand whether it's being used for positive reasons or for negative reasons, especially for emerging researches. And biological agents now are far more cheaper than it used to be. And with the emergence of non-state actors, there is a constant threat of somebody, maybe a non-state actor, using a biological agent as a weapon of war, either through the food we eat, the water we drink, or even releasing it into the atmosphere. And the activities of non-state actors are increasing all over the world, from Boko Haram to bandits to different forms or different incidents, increasing incidents of emerging infectious diseases. You can see in recent years, from 2016 to 2014, you can see the way incidents of emerging infectious diseases like dengue fever, avian influenza, Ebola, chikungunya have increased significantly. Frequency of infectious disease within the last 10 years, between 2011 and 2021, you can see that it's as if almost every year there's something new that is coming up. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, till COVID and pathogen X that nobody knows what it will be. But the motto is, we should all be prepared. Environmental destruction. As we destroy our environment, the environment reacts back, and we see impacts in severe biosecurity threats. Human and animals destroying or getting into new habitats, animal habitats, and relating with animals in ways we're not supposed to relate with them, and getting pathogens jumping from the animal world to the human world. Globalization, the UN agency tourism said more than 900 million tourists made foreign trip in 2022 alone. The world has become a global village that if something happens anywhere, any village, and we don't nip it on the bud, within 24 hours, you can find it in Australia, you can find it in America, you can find it in China, because the world has become a global village. Antimicrobial resistance. Imagine activities of human beings and the way we use our drugs and we relate with our environment is increasing the probability of antimicrobial resistance in our world today. And we are now seeing that humans are not responding to known drugs that are used to treat infections, and this is becoming one of the biggest challenges in our world today, even bigger than most issues that we're discussing about. Drug-resistant infection is said to account for 700,000 deaths annually, and are expected to reach 10 million deaths by the year 2050. That's just about less than 20 years ago. That'll be 20 years to come. Potential of accidental release steps of misuse of emerging research. One of the biggest challenges we're having with biological research is that it's easily accessible, it's affordable, it's cheaper, and it's very difficult to monitor. COVID has shown clearly that one of the challenges we'll be having in our world today, the security challenges we'll be having in our world today, will necessarily not be caused by bombs or guns, but may be caused by a small pathogen that we know little or nothing about. If, for example, somebody has access to a pint of Ebola-infected blood, that is enough to cause what an atomic bomb can be, as in the impact or the effect of that alone. If it decides to use it as an agent as a weapon of war, can cause what a tank or an atomic bomb will not be able to cause. So the ability to use biological agents as a weapon of war is becoming one of the biggest issues we're having in our world today. And COVID has shown clearly that an infectious disease can become a global issue that can lock down the whole world within a short period of time. History of biological warfare over years, we've been seeing people or countries using biological agents as agents of war. During the First World War, some countries, Germany used anthrax. Even before the First World War, biological agents were used as weapons of war. And it brings us to the era of modern technologies, where humanity and artificial intelligence are fusing together to produce innovations and technologies that are addressing issues and solving problems at rates that humanity never thought of in years back. Gene editing, synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, robotics, and nanotechnology. Synthetic biology, ability to redesign and re-energize organisms to fit another purpose, to fit different purpose, or to energize a purpose that we're using them for. This is an emerging biotechnology that we're focusing on. In this conference, that have been used in developed drugs from various very important issues that have been used in medicine to develop vaccines, used in medicine for development of insulin, mass production of insulin, mass production of artemisinin, and used in different sectors of humanity to solve emerging problems. In agriculture, synthetic biology has been used effectively to improve the quality and the quantity of agricultural produce, and it has the ability to re-energize organisms and remove organisms to fit particular purpose or to improve their abilities. But the challenge with that is that, yes, you can use it to improve, you can improve it to fit a particular purpose, but that particular purpose can be good and it can be negative. That's the challenge with emerging technologies like this. So the way you can mass produce an agri-produce using synthetic biology, the same way you can mass produce a monster microorganism using synthetic biology. So it's very important for us to understand the uses of emerging technologies like this and understand the challenges that goes with it, so that as early as possible, we start discussing guidelines and issues and ideas to make sure that we have enough guidelines to prevent the misuse of such technologies. Gene editing. Gene editing is as simple as cut and paste. You now have the ability, humanity now have the ability to cut a particular DNA at a particular location in a gene series and replace it conveniently. And this is very useful in treating genetic related diseases, very useful in treating diseases like cancer and many other forms of genetic related diseases. But it can also be used to energize and manipulate genetic codes of living things. That we can use it to improve the level of knowledge of things. You can use it to improve strength and use it to bring in different or improve the ability of animals or organisms in ways or give them abilities that they never used to have. Artificial intelligence, machine intelligence combined with human intelligence to produce a level of intelligence and innovation in our world today. Robotics, nanotechnology. Nanotechnology has to do with dealing with research at the nano level, at the atom level. So it's becoming clear in our world today that the biggest global risk or global challenge we will be having may not be caused by bombs like we've seen like that, but may be caused by a pathogen X like influenza virus that we know little or nothing about. So it's very important for us as we continue to talk about these emerging technologies to identify the challenges that goes with it and to see how we can develop structures and policies to make sure that it doesn't get or it is not used for the negative purposes. Preparing for the next biosecurity threat. There's no person that learns how to shoot during a war. So if you want to learn how to fight, it's not when the war starts. It's when they are during peace that people prepare for war. And so what are we supposed to be doing now to prepare for the next pandemic? And part of the preparation is what we're having today. Bringing together experts from different parts of the world to discuss. Number one, let us identify what the issues are and come together to discuss solutions to address these emerging challenges. So what can we do to maximize the benefits and reduce the challenges of these technologies? Number one, we need international collaboration. Africa has to join the chariot and join the discussion on these emerging technologies. We cannot just be at the receiving end. It's very important for Africa to come on board and know what exactly these technologies are, how can we be involved, and how can we work with international organizations to reduce the challenges that it offers. We have to get involved and ratify and sign international treaties, the biological weapon conventions, the resolution 1540 that has to do with preventing, countries have to prevent the stockpiling, production, and use of biological agents as weapon of war. Public engagement and education like we're doing. Affordable, make this research affordable and accessible, especially in Africa. We cannot afford to just sit down and continue to look while the whole world is going at a very fast speed. Africa just have to join the chariots. Dual use oversight, we need to monitor, create systems, policies, and structures and guidelines to make sure that a good research is not used for the wrong purpose. Role of government, regulation and policy development, research and development support. Africa has to invest more in research and development. International collaboration between countries, the global north and the global south. And how can the private sector come in? Private sector should be the foundation for investment into research and development in Africa. That is what is obtainable in most developed world, and private sector in Africa too should come in to be involved in funding research and development and innovation in this part of the world. Roles of NGO. NGO should be involved in advocacy and public engagement, and this is what GET has been doing in the last 9 years. We have to be involved in monitoring and accountability. Make sure that government is accountable to and do what they say they will do. Make sure that the researchers that are involved in this kind of research are accountable for the kind of research they are conducting in their laboratories. Ethical guidelines can be involved in developing ethical guidelines. Like 2 years ago, GET was involved, or GET even spearheaded the development of the biosecurity policy for West Africa. And has been adopted as a regional biosecurity policy for West Africa today. So, let me end by talking about my organization, which is one of the leading biosecurity-based organizations in Africa today, and we've been involved in a series of activities to ensure that biosecurity, or Africa, this part of the world, is safe of biological threats. Our organization is Global Emerging Pathogens Treatment Consortium. We've been at the forefront of fighting biological threats in West Africa in the last 9 years, working with both government and non-governmental organizations to build capacity to cope with emerging biosecurity threats. We have our strategies that include publication, outreach, capacity building, logistic research, and policy advocacy. And we have a series of publications. We're gradually becoming the biggest biosecurity-based think tank in Africa, publishing newsletter, policy briefs, technical paper. I will run the first journal of biosecurity and OneNet on the continent. We conduct a lot of outreach and community engagements, like the conference we're doing now. We've been doing it consistently in different countries and cities in West Africa in the last 9 years. We have our biosecurity summit that we organized. We have our webinar series that we organize every month, and the OneNet School Club. Capacity building, we've been involved in capacity building with different government and non-governmental organizations in the last 9 years. And very soon we're working with some universities within the region to build the first GET Institute for Biosecurity in Africa. Let me stop there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, Doctor. When you said let me stop there, it's as if it was not the last slide. Meanwhile, the last slide was the stopping point. It's impressive. I mean, this is indeed far beyond the historical tracing of what this whole story is about. And we're seeing so much more beyond our own case, and that obviously is so much a futuristic company at the same time, having its hands fully, rooted on the earth, to ensure that the question of biosecurity is actually addressed at every given point in time. I want to say a big thank you very much one more time for the opportunity to be part of your success story. Indeed, it's a success story because it's not easy to put together an international conference of this nature as an avenue for engagement. But we're glad that all of this, including last year's communique, is actually very much in print. So I believe that the Secretariat will direct appropriately. Last year, this was launched on the standard one held for students. Earlier I talked about it. I think we should all get copies for our kids, as well as some other schools that we might be interested in. We have the GET Journal of Biosecurity and One Health. This is volume 1, issue 1. There are several other publications on ground, just like the CEO has actually mentioned. This is what the communique of the 8th edition looks like. Although I was looking at the picture there, I couldn't find myself. I thought I was looking as one of those people, but I mean, this gives you the idea of the fact that a lot of the documentation of this nature will help us in driving our database as well as data sources. So please, your contributions are obviously very welcome. We're going to go straight in to the next speaker. We'll just adjust the program a little bit. To speak on the topic building and advancing Africa's bioeconomy is the director of Natural Eco Capital, a sustainability consulting firm at the vanguard of promoting the integration of the emerging sustainability issues of circular economy, natural capital, low carbon development strategies with sustainable and green financing. As a fellow of Lead International, also the fellow of the Nigerian Environmental Society, where he serves as the current chairman of the Lagos chapter, mainland. He's involved so much more in climate technology and climate solutions in terms of green growth. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I welcome Dr. Eugene Itua as he comes forward to make his presentation. Thank you so very much for the honor, sir. And afterwards, we will have Professor Solomon Rotimi, who's going to be speaking on the importance of biobanking addressing emerging infectious diseases. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just to quickly add that what he just read out seems to be the older version, where you can see the International Institute of Risk and Safety Management on the Nigerian chair. And only on Tuesday, we validated what we call the long-term low emission development strategy for the nation and the coordinator, the national coordinator on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. And hopefully we intend to launch it at COP28 that is coming up in Dubai. And just to add one more thing, we have a Climate Change Act today. Two of us, Professor Kureke and I, were specifically included in a letter by the distinguished Honorable Bayami Amila to support the National Assembly in developing that bill. And today is what we now have as the Nigeria Climate Change Act 2021. So just to give you that, and that's what we'll be talking about is bioeconomy, in synthetic biology. The clothes you are wearing, the chairs you are sitting on now, you were out there and you had some tea. The question is, what is it that is not from the environment? That is not part of the natural resources that we have all around us?